Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. If my voice sounds a little bit different right now, it's because I have just got back from a festival. Well, actually I got back yesterday, but my voice is still a little bit rough. I had a fantastic time at Sonisphere Festival, that's the one that I went to, and that's why you're watching this episode on a Thursday and not a Tuesday, just because I needed a little more time to, get myself together and then record the episode, because it usually takes me between like 2 days to make each episode here on the Hermitcraft server. But I had a really great time. I got to see Metallica and a whole bunch of other bands, and Metallica are like one of my favourites. I listened to them when I was really young and it meant a lot to see them again. In fact, I got incredibly close to the front of the stage and I actually got to see James Hetfield and the other guys in the band about 1.5 meters away from where I was, which was absolutely fantastic. So I've been in an ecstatic mood for a while now. I've been feeling really good about that. But it is now time to get back to things as they normally are and start working here on the server. So I've been reading your feedback. It took me quite some time to read all of the comments because I wasn't able to read them for a few days, and that was across a whole bunch of videos, but finally I got through it and we had a lot of feedback for this thing here. And I don't know what I was expecting, but the feedback that I got that I thought was most important was actually really different from what I probably would have expected if I'd have sat down and thought about it. So what a lot of you were commenting was saying that this feels quite closed in, like it keeps you away from the garden. So you come through this tunnel, and by the way, I was supposed to tidy this little bit up here, but I forgot to do that, I guess. So you come through the tunnel, and you want to go into a garden, yet all of this right here is kind of closing you into this little tunnel and you're kind of separated from it, and I absolutely agree with that. That makes so much sense now that I see it like that. And also we have the brown glass at the top here, which a lot of people didn't like, and now that I take on board people's thoughts and opinions, I can kind of see it. It looks a little dirty and it doesn't really bring too much to the top in those areas, and a lot of people didn't like the glass down below as well. So if we remove these ones, I think it's going to make it feel a little bit more open and it will probably look a little nicer as well. So we're just going to remove it from this side over here and then go around to the front and have a look from down there. Yeah, it does look a little more open, and I think when we remove it on the other side it's definitely going to get that kind of effect. So let's just remove a couple more of these, and we're only going to spend a little bit of time here just changing this a touch, and then we're going to move on. I really want to crack on with finishing this whole project now. We've got one more station to build. I'm hoping to do it this episode, and then we're going to actually have a few other projects involving the track again. I'll explain that more in more detail in the future, but that's going to involve some other hermits, which will be pretty cool. So that looks a lot more open and a lot nicer already, and I really like the glass at the bottom, but there are also some comments, some people didn't like that either. So coming through now definitely feels more open. I mean, this at the top here is going to make it feel a little closed in, but that feels so much more open now. And the other thing that I brought with me was some of these. So we're going to remove the glass at the edges here and try out another thing that was suggested in the comments. I just remembered something else that was suggested as well that I wanted to try out, but I don't have the materials for that, so we're going to have to go back and get some more. So the other suggestion was to use fence posts instead of glass. Now the glass does definitely stand out, and the fence post is going to match these materials more, so there's a good chance that this could look a fair bit better. I've got to say that looks a little more humble, doesn't it? Whereas with the glass it looks a little more industrial maybe? I don't know, a little more clean, a little bit more expensive perhaps compared to this. I think we're going to change it all up. I think we're going to get rid of all of that brown glass and put in the fence gates post. That's something we could do actually. We could put fence gates in between. They're always in sets of 3, so that could make it look a little interesting as well. We'll definitely try that out. And what was the other thing that I needed to do here? I've got it written down on my list of notes. Oh yes, that's right. So a lot of people, well I say a lot, it was actually a couple of people, but I saw the same suggestion a few times, was to put down oak logs underneath the bushes. Now which ones exactly I'm not sure to do it on, but there were some over here. Let's go around the back here. So we've got like 2 there that could perhaps do this. Let's remove these blocks just so we don't disrupt the other one. We're going to put 1 on that side and 1 like that, so they're facing in the other direction, and that does make quite a bit of difference. I think this is something that Corrales does, and it looks quite nice having the oak log underneath there. So I think I'll go around and I'll do that a few more times as well. And one last thing that I want to do And the reason that I brought these buttons with me, I saw them in the chest at the beginning there and I thought, let's try this. We want to add a little bit more detail to this thing, so maybe if we put, let's say, oh, I can't place it on that one, so that and that. Ah, now that, I love that. Just something as simple as putting a couple of buttons brings a little bit more texture and a lot more detail to this thing. I absolutely love that. That is so cool. We're going to do that going the whole way around. Excellent. Right, so I'm going to make these changes and then we're going to come back in a bit when they're all done, have a look at it, and then we'll probably move on from this thing. So I've just watched back the video that I recorded there and I noticed two things. First of all, I have a little bit of a sniffle, and if that annoys you, I am sorry. I didn't even notice it because I've been a little bit exhausted from the festival. And another thing, and why is that door open? I do not know. To do with the doors, actually. Now, when I do my commentating and I watch it back, sometimes I notice I say things without really fully explaining them, and sometimes it baffles me a little bit why I don't do that. So a moment ago I said that it was good when we were talking about these fence gates because there were 3 of them in a row. Now, what I was thinking and didn't say is that means that we can put a fence post on either side and a fence gate in the middle, and I just didn't say that, so that's what I was trying to say, and now you can see what it looks like. Do you know what? I actually preferred it with 3 fence posts in a row over the fence gates, but now that they're all in place, I think I'm just going to leave it because it's probably not going to make too much of a difference. But now this place is a lot more open. I think this bit of the top could probably go. You know, it used to have the glowstone in the middle and it used to provide some lighting, which as I was doing this I realised of course it doesn't do that anymore, and so it's no longer necessary. So I might actually remove that. However, I'm not going to make up my mind straight away. I might come back to that and do it in between episodes or something like that. But let's talk about the other thing that I did over here with the logs. Now, I realised as I was placing this, I think that what you meant in the comments was to have them facing up like this, and I put them first of all on the side, and I actually think they look good either way. So around here I was playing around with a couple of different things. You can put them on this side next to ones that are up like that, and it looks pretty good, I think. You can also use the darker ones with no problem at all, and around here you can see it does look pretty good. I do like that effect. But another thing to point out, you don't have to use it on every single bush as well, because if we go around here, where is it? Is it this one? It kind of spreads out and you can see there's 2 there but not on the sides, and over here as well. I've got to say I'm feeling pretty exhausted right now, and it looks really cool when you do it like this. You know, you put them underneath some but let the bush go over onto the other bit. And so that's me learning how to put logs underneath bushes. Anyway, we have one more thing to do that was suggested again in the comments. This was a fantastic suggestion, just to remove a couple of these and put some jungle leaves under them, and they have that difference in the texture where you get that slight bit of lighter green, and it might look just like some fruit are growing here. Now, I only have 8 of these in my chest, otherwise I've got to go all the way back to the wasteland, so we're just going to put 4 of these on each tree. And that does look pretty good. If you're just walking underneath here, it's a nice subtle little detail there. But I think probably you want to have more than 4. Do you know what? I'm going to put 8 on this tree and we'll have none on the other. So let's just put... Okay, well, I didn't mean to put that there, but it looks alright. Just put a few more down and around the place. And let's just put one right there. And that does actually look pretty good, doesn't it? I like that. Very subtle little detail there as well. I was going to put some vines on here as well, but I'd have to go all the way back to the wastelands. And as I said, I am tired and exhausted. So it's time for us to move on from this now. I think what I'll do is remove that roof at another time and see how it looks. But hopefully you like the changes. We are now going to go over to where the new station and the last station will be. Talk about that for a second. And then I think I'm going to call it a day, which will give me some time, you know, to just dig and get the station built, because, like I said, I'm feeling really exhausted, and it probably wasn't the best of ideas to be recording, you know, so soon, because going to a festival, if you haven't done it before, it really wears you out, it knackers you, and I'm really feeling it. So somewhere around here is where the last station is going to be. I did joke about this being the legal district, but it's only Slip's law offices over here, and I just think we should call it the end of the line, since there's not much over here. There is a little bit of land if people want to expand and build in this area. You know, it's not the best. You'd have to do a little bit of terraforming first, but there is some land over this hill, which I think I talked about building a game over here, and I said I was going to do it soon, and I really did plan on doing that, but then the idea just kind of got away from me. and I didn't have the time to build it because it's quite an ambitious project, so we might come back to that idea in the future. But for now we're just going to build a station somewhere around here. I'm thinking the entrance is just going to be right here in the side of this hill. It's kind of screaming at me to do it right there because we can dig in a little bit and then we can go down and there will be plenty of space, as I don't think anyone's built on the other side of that, which is pretty cool. So I will get to work. As I said, I'm tired and I will continue recording tomorrow. So it is now the future, and I don't know if my voice really sounds any better because now I have morning voice, but I do feel a lot better after a day of rest. And I have been building the station over here. It is finished. Let's go down and have a look. You can see the colour that we use for this. It may look red, but it's actually the pink stained clay. And so on our load of colours that we've got right here, we've gone from purple all the way up to red, so I thought pink would be the colour to put above that, and that is going to be the last station on here as well, which is pretty cool. So at the moment all I've got to do is build the tunnel, and there isn't really anything else to say except I've just noticed that I need more spruce wood. One of the things I am now going to have to do is go all the way back to the wastelands and get some more of that, because we need some for up top here, but also the entire track has spruce wood underneath it, so it's not like I can just chop down a little tree. And look, right as I start recording, an army of zombies has come to attack me. And I tell you what, the whole time I was building this, hardly got disturbed at all, and I thought I would have because it's not particularly well lit up around here, and it looks like another couple of zombies have spawned. This social zombie spawning thing is ridiculous. You know, it's fun at first, but then it just gets really annoying, and to be honest, I wish you could turn it off, because I think when you're starting out in a world, the challenge of fighting the mobs, it's good, but then, you know, you get to that kind of God mode stage where you've got all of this kind of armour and these sorts of weapons, and these guys, I mean, I could just stand here and he's really not going to do anything to me, is he? Look at this. How long could I stand here for? In fact, every time he hits me, he's doing damage to my armour. So I gotta be careful there, because I need to go back to the wastelands and replace it with a new set so that it doesn't get broken. And one of the things I tend to do is when it gets down to somewhere around here, I just think, let's go and change it, because I don't want to risk it breaking. You know, it's easy not to pay attention to these over time. But anyway, I am rambling on a little bit, so I will go and get some supplies, and then we will connect this one up to the food court, which is the other station. And I noticed a couple of comments, some people picked up on this. There are 4 arrows on this sign, and on the one I made at TFC's base I put 5 just because I couldn't remember. I've actually gone and corrected that. But anyway, I will make this tunnel and I will be back with you in a moment. So I'm just over here at the map area, updating the map, and now that I've put it on there, it does seem a little bit silly. You know, end of the line. I feel like actually we need to have a name for an area there, but this place doesn't really have a name because it's an area where there isn't a lot going on. So I could call it new area or something like that, but if any of you have an interesting word or an idea for a name for something there that would be better at describing it, then leave a comment down below, because I might come back and change that, because I do think it looks a little bit silly that it says end of the line. But there you go, we have updated it, and it's time for us to head back, get some supplies and make that tunnel. So ladies and gentlemen, I think we have just finished doing the entire thing. I've just put down the last slabs, and I'm pretty sure that I've done all of this last part of the tunnel here correctly, and that means that the whole thing is finished, the project as a whole. There you go, it's done. Let's have a look at the map. That's now in place. And you can see it says end of the line. Actually, I do have a couple more things that I need to do. I need to put signs at the previous station. We need to put a sign above the entrance of this station, and then we need to go around and open all of them, but then they will be open for business. And I think what we need to do is make a book and drop it off in everyone's mailbox. And I said open for business, and right as I said it I thought, well, this is actually completely free, so it's a free service, so it's not open for business, it's just open. But there we go, it's done. I was about to say let's ride this thing, but it's really boring. It's just one of these tunnels again that leads over to the other station. And what I made this one do, as you can see, it goes down, so it literally just, you know, goes in that direction, goes down a little bit, and then it goes over to the right and all the way across to the other station, which is somewhere over there in the distance. But that is it. So I'm going to do those last other things, go around and open all of these stations, and then I guess we are done with this project, which is pretty cool. There's not much more else to say about it, is there? Since the last time I recorded, I have made a lot of progress. I have managed to craft and place down a sign right here. But not only have I done that, I have also written on it as well, which is pretty impressive. And I know we haven't done too much this episode, you know, we built a station and a tunnel, but now we've done some real work right here. Of course, I am just joking around, but before we move on, I wanted to show you what was on this sign. So we have the station name at the top here, then we have a line, and then we have the name of the area. This one being end of the line. We do need something different from that, so if you have any ideas, leave a comment down below. But what I want to get all of you to do is to name each of the stations. So we're going to do them one by one. So one of the things you can do is leave a comment down below for a station name idea. Now we're kind of limited at the moment to a 7-letter word. That's why I put Newport on this one. This is only temporary as well because we want to have the name of the station, then a divider, and then the name of the area. And the name of the area is going to need 2 lines because of the length of some of these area names. So because of that, we're limited to a 7-letter word unless there's another way to reduce the station. What we could do is something like, well, Newport, that's something, that's a longer word. Something station, like that. Does that really work? I don't think that works. But if you have any ideas on how to shorten that, then put it down in the comments as well. But otherwise, we will be naming the stations like that. So I'm at the end of the line now, and I've been thinking as I'm going from station to station that most of these can actually fit on one line, which means that we could use 2 lines for the station name, and then you guys would have more flexibility. Maybe you could make a 2-word station name, but there are just a couple of stations that have long names, and at the moment I don't really have the time to figure out how to shorten them and make it look neat on the sign as well, and that's because I am trying to get this episode out at 4:30 on a Tuesday, which is the normal publishing time. And as you may have seen earlier in the video, I probably would have put some text on the screen saying that we got it out on a Tuesday because I did plan on putting this out on Thursday, but time has been kind to me. We have really ploughed through and got that other station and track done really quickly, so I was able to put this out on time, which is good. But that is kind of wrapping things up this episode. This thing is now open for the hermits to use, and if you're a hermit and you're watching, remember you take your own minecart with you and you take it off the track when you are done with it. And this place looks really good now. I think I might make 1 or 2 more modifications, and there you go, we've got a little bit of server lag, but it's looking real nice. So feel free to leave a comment and suggest a station name. I think it's quite likely you'll have more than just the 7 letters for a station name, so get creative, and I'll pick one out each episode as I've already talked about. But that is going to be it for this episode. If you have enjoyed it, please do leave a like, it will always be appreciated. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.